YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Gunman. So the previous video that I did on this channel, I was talking about some of the negative parts of this trade. So I'd like to flip the script and talk about some of the positive sides of the trade. Or it's kind of going to be a little bit different. Like the idea that spurred this video on was that my colleague Eddie, a guy that I worked with about a year and a half or 2 years ago, he actually got made redundant at the previous shop that we worked at together. So I'm glad that I got out of there. That's just the truth. I got ahead of the curve because like basically the whole shop's been changed since I worked there, and I'm not here to get into that or talk about that. I'm actually just glad to have Eddie back, right? But yeah, like the idea that spurred this video on was he reminds me so much of myself when I first started working with PPG, right? So I was using standox, and coming from standox to PPG, there's a lot, look, for starters, there's a lot of stuff to learn. And if you don't get the right advice or, know the correct procedures, you're gonna be set up to fail with PPG, right? So he's doing what I was doing when I first come to PPG, making all those complaints, and you can actually see it, I've written it down here. PPG is okay, and because I write it down because he's actually deaf, right? And I've just got to say continuously to him, like, man, PPG is not that bad. A year and a half ago, I would have been right there with him, bashing him, just complaining about it. But once you get over the key few things, it's really not that bad. And it just got me to thinking. And then I said to him, I said, man, like, the paint is down on the list. Like, it's not irrelevant, right? But it's not one of the most important things in having a good and happy, work-life balance, or not balance, but just, where you work, it's not gonna be one of the biggest things. Like, I guess it's there, and yeah, to be completely fair on this system, it's actually not that bad. One of the next things that I'm gonna be doing, and I think I have enough content there to actually make that video, so it'll be coming up soon, but it's PPG top 10 things that I like about PPG. So yeah, no negatives, and I'm definitely starting to warm to PPG, especially now that they've come out with a hell of a lot of new clear coats. That was one of the things I wasn't the biggest fan of, especially that 136 clear, but we're not here to bitch and moan about PPG. But yeah, it just got me thinking, what are the most important things, when at work? And I would put first and foremost is the people. I gave Eddie a big hug. The end of the day on his first day working with me, I just gave him a big hug. No homo type shit, but it's just a pleasure to be around cool people. Look, I sometimes do have a bit of a short temper, so I can just snap sometimes, but don't. Yeah, I guess my point is that to be around me, you got to be a forgiving type of a person, because I'm far from perfect, like, I guess that's just who we are, and, I forgive other people just like I would expect that in return. So I guess that's just me reflecting on, what it's like to work with, what it may be like. I can understand it may be difficulty at sometimes working with me, but you just got to be like, oh, that's him just venting. I guess I like things a certain way. Like, for instance, if you just start leaving dirty thinners rags around the shop, I'm not gonna like that, because I'm walking around maybe without a respirator, just copping a lung full of thinners. So my reaction might be, dude, stop leaving these bloody thinners rags around. And I know that's not the right way to react, but it's just sometimes how I react, right? And it's not intentional, but it's just, yeah. I guess it doesn't mean I hate you, it just means I'm an imperfect person, right? And we're not here to talk about that. So one of the other things that I've written down is, and these are, look, everything, I don't know the order, but I know the order of the first one, and that's the people. The people that you can get along with, and people that are cool and polite and even kind and, friendly. Friendly isn't probably the best word, because I struggled in some of the shops where, like, I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky, glass half full type guy. I always give everyone a second chance, and every day's a new day. That's one thing with me and my missus, right? We never if we don't disagree, we don't argue or fight that much, but if we ever do, our rule, it never carries over to the next day, right? So every day has to be a new day, right? And the reason I say that is like, because when there's shops that you'd work at here in Melbourne, and it's not like that in Perth, right? But there's shops here in Melbourne, they won't even say good morning to you. They won't even look at you. They won't even just give you a wave, a nod, or an acknowledgement. So I guess the reason I say that is like, when you don't even acknowledge that person's existence, where does it, like, you've set the bar so low that when somebody does say, oh man, what's going on with that? The thinners rag example that I said before, you're gonna immediately go to negatives, hate that guy. But if you can at least start on a positive, you can dip, and then like the baseline is, you know, positive. That's where you're gonna come back to, you know. But if you don't even say anything to that person in the morning, and it's too common here in Melbourne, and it never used to be that way, and it is getting worse, but hey, we're not here to... I'm rambling on. I just say whatever's on the top of my mind in these videos. So, like I say, people is first and foremost, and attitudes and the people that you're working with is the most important thing. And I feel blessed to be working with Eddie again. He's such a legend. I can't say that enough. He might walk in any second. So if he does, we'll say a quick good day to him. But even Ifran, he's an Indonesian guy that works here. He's another legend, just does it. He actually reminds me of myself in many ways. Like, nothing's an issue, right? So any of my bosses or ex-bosses, or even colleagues will probably vouch for this. If you, like, one thing that about me is, if you ask me to do something, done. Like, I'm not, but I don't know, but I'm like, what do you want? You want that painted? Done. Just tell me the order and I'll do it all. I'm not going to complain about it. You want to blend that door? Blend the door. You know, you want to go edge to edge on the color? I'll do it. Right? So that's what I've got with Ifran here. So he's learning. He's like more of a trainee. But yeah, you'll just be like, oh man, do you want, sorry, do you want to just, we haven't got much work. Do you want to go and sweep up the panel shop? Or whatever it be? Done. Do you want to go and help Baxter in the polishing bay? Done. No questions asked. So yeah, having a good team is first and foremost. But yeah, as I say, anything below this, you can put it in whatever order. It's not like I sat down and ranked it like a top 10 spray gun list or anything. But yeah, next I'd say facility. It'd come after people. You know, it's nice to work in a nice facility. Yeah, some of the places that I've worked in, like look at this, man. You know, fully vented. You know, so I've got thinners rag sitting here. There's Ifran. The guy from Indonesia I was talking about before. Can you see him out there? There he is. Hi, Efron. But yeah, so we've got inlet here, so that comes in from the from fresh air from the workshop, and then it goes out here. So thinners, you can have thinners rags or Prepsol rags. If I Prepsol the car, I'll actually deliberately put it there so that the Prepsol doesn't sort of stink the whole paint room out. So yeah, having a good facility, amazing, good, nice, clean, well-maintained spray booth and prep bays and all that, amazing. Totally love it, but people come first. What else do I got next? Yeah, the equipment. So I would place, you know, the paint system and your orbital sanders and, you know, air-fed respirators and compressors, all that kind of, I would place that under the equipment, right? So yeah, and we have all of that, man. Like, again, I wouldn't necessarily say PPG is my favorite system, but it's my second, and I would happily say that. A lot of the negative things that I had in the past, I've overcome them, and yeah, I guess potentially say, oh, I'm wrong, you know, and sorry to some of the people that knew that I was wrong, but had to listen to me ranting on about it. But I guess that's just our journey. At that point in time, that's just where I was at. I was being honest to myself, and it came from a good place, and it was just how I felt, you know. So yeah, had my time again, I probably would have just toned down a little bit and just maybe not been so aggressive in my stances, but we are who we are, and we just do what we can do sometimes. And yeah, another one, we've got like that killer air compressor out there. You know, never gonna skip a beat in that. And I do say that because the last place that we were at, like when I was doing a respray, I'd have to go out and tell the guys that, like, stop man, stop grinding, stop welding or whatever you're doing that uses the air, and tell the other painter to stop because you need the air, you know. And it was just a cheap Chinese air compressor that was just dipping, and it couldn't keep up with the whole workshop. So You know, all that kind of stuff does, you know, play into how your day goes and how smooth your day goes and how happy you can be at work. And yeah, the next one I've got is just a pretty weak one, but you know, location. I guess it's not that weak, but I've sort of made myself a general rule of thumb. 30 minutes is my cutoff. Like, I mean, you could probably go a little bit, maybe 5-10 minutes either side of that, but well, definitely on the underside, but you could maybe go 5 or 10 minutes over it, but yeah, I don't want to be spending more than half an hour each way in traffic. So yeah, and I'm pretty much bang on that at the moment. It takes me about half an hour to get to work and half an hour to get home from work. So yeah, not spending too much of your time in traffic every day. So here's Eddie. Say hello to everybody. This is Eddie, the man Eddie. So like I said, he is deaf, so he can't hear you, but he is one of the best people I've ever worked with. So yeah, it's awesome. He said I'm a good painter, so yeah, you listen to him, listen to what he says. Yeah. What do you think of this? Good or no good? He's warming to it, warming to it. Ah, so where were we? Probably about to wrap this video up anyway. Oh, here we go, here we go. That's his favorite, and for the win, Standock. So I'm with him on that, for sure. All right, guys, I guess we'll wrap it up, and yeah, that was pretty much all I wanted to say anyway. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you've been well. I need to get back into pumping the vids out. This is the time of year that my spirits do start lifting in spring. You know, I do like the warmer weather, and I tell you what, it makes that paint flow a bit nicer and makes that clear coat go on a bit nicer, makes the paint dry a bit better in between coats as well. So until next time, see you in the next one. Gunman out.